Nip's map pick. And this is theirs. They are bringing them to their technical home turf. But at the same time, these are two teams that have a lot of map comfort.
Yeah, and our resident studio expert, Dino, has predicted another 6-2 here to FaZe Clan. We'll see if he's right, as we see the first operator ban come through from Ninja Pyjamas. It's going to be the Lion yet again. I wonder what FaZe Clan are going to ban out here, because the attacker bans when Lion is off the board have always been fairly out there. I want to say a DKB again.
Much quicker this time, and no, Hibana they want to take off the table. And Hibana on Clubhouse, when she's removed, that can completely change the way this map can be played, especially on certain points like that downstairs, well, basement church armory point, because utility and usage clashes off the board with drop downs and hatches and tunnels and walls and wherever. That becomes a much harder decision.
We see the final ban coming out from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and it is going to be the Echo coming out the board from them. So, I mean, fairly standard bans coming out from this. Apart from the Hibana being brought through, I don't think anyone could have predicted this outcome.
Well, hey, everything's a mystery. That's what we love about Siege. Well, we go in one map up. Nip have to take this map. But if they don't, I say that, they do go down to the losers bracket. They still have another chance to get redemption. They're not going to be thinking like that, though. They want to go straight through to the final. This is them playing it. And for the first time today, and I'm using the word properly this time, Maverick.
Yeah, but Maverick is a pretty strong pick here. But I'm kind of surprised to see him coming through, because normally we only see Maverick come through on Clubhouse when it's an upstairs take. And just looking at all the picks coming out from FaZe, especially that 6 pick onto Montaigne, seems to suggest to FaZe that it is going to be an upstairs defense coming out from Ninja Pyjamas. But that Hibana ban, I think, is going to be very much preferring that downstairs defense to start with from Nip. And I think that they just want to get around on the board here as quickly as possible.
Yeah, obviously the famed way of using a Monty, especially against, this basement point, is to push down dirt tunnel, have a little bit of your own private battle with either smoke, normally, occasionally Elysian, but normally smoke in that tunnel as the rest of the round plays out, and then whoever wins that battle is just who has that control by the end of it. At the same time, obviously that was the general way of doing it. You never really know how these guys are going to play it. That's something that LATAM is really good at a region at doing, is kind of taking predictions and taking standards and going, but we want to try this. We want to do it this way. We want to see how we can roll it. So you never really know. Obviously, Mira unbanned. Mira is free to set up and defend. And we've seen her let through on this map a couple of times this tournament.
I mean, she's not really that prevalent on this map, though. I mean, she's good on Clubhouse, but she's not essential like she is on a lot of other maps. You're not really keeping control of rooms like you are on other maps. So we normally see, yeah, a good bit of Mira when she is allowed, but I don't think it generally affects things. But what is affecting things is allowing Julio on the Mira.
Yeah, obviously we've seen the effect that Julio can have as a mirror on a game, on the play, and you're giving them a main. You're giving them a powerful main that can be utilized so well. It seems like, as I said, it's the expected way of playing the Monty, and then there's doing it your own way and bring your own touch to it. Yuna about to come across PZD. I don't think PZD expected that. Instantly turns off and runs off the Valk. Isn't going to pick that fight too much. Monty does, though.
Yuna just going to immediately ADS for honestly no reason at all. He had no reason to take a so aggressive fight. PZD goes down, but wow, what an early mistake coming out from Yuna here. Mav could be trying to open up construction. You could have got such a good kill there, Mav, but no, Astro will take it. Kamikaze goes down. That's a 4v3, but that has both the roamers off the board so early on. But that Monty really should not know.
No, that was a surprise. It seems like the Monty got hit by the Zofia charge and kind of panic ADS'd a little bit. Thought that maybe the Valk's been hit as well, but again, you knew you had Astro on your shoulder closing in. You did not have to do that. Cameraman just looking at Astro, who's down, and not going for the reset straight away. Going to punish him, I guess, for stealing Mav's butt kill there, but hey, that's good teamwork. And it is now down to collapse into point. Julio is playing, and Psycho, to be fair, isn't playing too far away, holding bar a bit above point, and we've often commented on this point that, to be fair, it's so big and so wide, you don't need a huge amount of room. You don't need to be too far away from point, but hey, it's always down to the team.
Yeah, such an aggressive hold though from Nip is really not usual at all for this kind of defense. He will spot out Julio's hiding behind the bar, and he does get picked by a beautiful shot from Cameraman. Takes Julio's head clean off and turns it into a 2v4. Now all into the hands of Wag and Psycho to try and bring this in. 35 seconds left to go on the clock. Psycho going to be trying to rotate up and into the bar area. Wag going to be smoking out Dirt Tunnel. 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Diffuser does get recovered by Astro, looking to maybe go for a plant through blue here, and just going to push through there. 20 seconds left to go.
Now Psycho has all of his bandit charges in pocket, and I'm kind of curious about how that's happened. The grenade comes through. Wag gets a very nice kill there against Mav, just gonna smoke off the opposite sides, try to stop a push. Psycho has gone all the way up away from point. Saw the shoulder of someone run out and drops Cameraman, who was steadily digging through the hole, and they have suddenly put it in their own favor. The diffuser doesn't go down. Wag clutching that round.
Beautiful clutch coming out from Wag there. I was so confused at just so many things going on right at the end of that round. I mean, just entering into dirt that late just did not seem like a smart idea at all. And the fact that the bandit just completely evaded all detection there, snuck into the kitchen, and yeah, there was a lot of weird things going through from FaZe. You'd think with such a heavy man advantage and knowing where the smoke was, he'd be able to bring it through. But yeah, very well played from Mag there, using the SMG-11 very effectively, shutting down almost all of FaZe there. Just managed to take a successful defense. So great round on the board already from Nip.
So Monty is back out with Una, maybe going to be playing a slightly different, slightly less aggressively. This time, again, we are moving up to gym bedroom, and currently there is neither a bandit or a mute.
No, there isn't. But I feel like it's kind of pointless taking either of those when there's a Maverick on the board.
Yeah, no, that is a very fair shout. Obviously, so far, normally when we've seen people aggressing against this point, they have started on Jacuzzi and kind of cleared their way across, at least. So that was generally, especially how Liquid like to do it as well. A team that we know loves to roll with shields and utilize shields. So it'll be interesting, again, where they're going to set up this Monty. However, the last time I called Monty, they went in a completely different way and then tried to ADS battle on a staircase. So I don't know if I would be able to call what this Monty is going to do.
We'll see how he goes there as we do move into round number 2. And we'll see exactly how Ninja's Pyjamas want to take hold of all of this. I'm not sure, because without a castle, this becomes a much harder defense, kind of unnecessarily. And I'm kind of surprised that they haven't opened up the hatch either in gym.
Well, it looks like Psycho's going to be wanting to hold in cache servers, at least CCTV. You can see Astro is immediately pushing towards Garage. They want to try and get that open as quickly as possible. But generally, from a team that was throwing a lot of roamers in the previous round, only one this time so far.
Only one so far. We'll see Ninja's Pyjamas just loading down onto gym bedroom. Wag will manage to make his way through into the logistics. It'll be Psycho, who is the solo roamer for today. But we normally see quite a lot of teams just trying to hold this as well from CCTV cache room. And we will see PCD doing that.
Now, PCD finding a lot of pressure, certainly, obviously, Monty. This is generally a more expected place to play Monty. Obviously, pushing up those garage stairs becomes quite powerful. Again, feeding information to Moringa, who wants to break through that CCTV wall. Just going to hop through there. They are now in a much better place. Obviously, there is always the worry that the Falcon can loop around from behind. That's what Moringa's clearing for them. Is he going to push through the door, though? It looks like they might go for the little opening as Buck doubles up, just breaking through. They're just going to steadily close down and push towards it. They are digging more and more. Again, the walking mountain is just using himself as a camera and feeding information.
They're doing very well indeed for themselves. Very good push coming out so far from FaZe, having secured quite a lot of control so early on. Just about to move into the second half of the round now. Psycho still on the roam, does get found out by Cameraman, but loses the fight. The deal comes out from Psycho and just executes Cameraman. That was such an aggressive peek for Cameraman to take.
That was, I think he'd given away, or the fact had given away the position from underneath, put a bit of bullets into Mav, and then they just kind of went for the hunt down on Psycho. But again, it was aggressive and it was just didn't really pay off, unfortunately. However, you can see they're setting up the claymores. They're covering the rotation behind. There is smoke, stopping any potential roll-through of Monty. The drones are still running. They have a lot of control of construction now. WAG is having to pull back out there. Just find a little bit of a safer place as they seem to want to clear through Secret Stash side. There he goes. Monty and Buck doubling up with those grenades. Astro is going to get slowed down. Unfortunate timing as the diffuser gets traded over. And Psycho, in the meantime, is still waiting to rotate back round.
Yeah, Moringa is going to move through, however, onto these windows and trying to push through where he can, just trying to hold down and stop any rotates from coming through. Mav going to prep a nade to go into the hallway here. Oh, but the smoke is going to get trapped in. Does not go down. PZD pushes all the way through into logistics. He takes down one. He takes down two. There goes Yuna. And that's going to be Astro, who does manage to trade it right on back to PZD. 15 seconds, let's go. Kamikaze takes down Astro, and now all into the hands of Moringa. Doesn't even refrag. Kamikaze takes him down. Ninjas take round number 2. And that's going to be the second consecutive round for Ninjas and Pyjamas. A very surprising take here in Clubhouse. But keep in mind, Clubhouse is defender-sided.
Yep. All right, so far, obviously, we've seen them kind of stack up behind that Monty, and the first round didn't work at all. The second round, it worked much better. They started to push round, but obviously, as soon as they started to lose a little bit, it all kind of fell apart for a FaZe that, in the previous map at least, they just seemed so confident and comfortable. And again, this was their map pick. They wanted to come here, but we head to CCTV and Cash Room. Again, no Bandit, no Mute, as you said. They've got a Maverick on the board. Cameraman is playing that, so it does make holding that East Wall much harder. They have the Thermite as well.
Yeah, they're doing fairly well with this. Let's move through into round number 3. But Ninjas, I don't know if Ninjas are looking strong on the defense or if FaZe are looking very poor, surprising on the attack. We also say that FaZe is one of the few teams in the world that are an attacker-sided team. They often do much better on attack, but honestly, I don't like the Monty-centered strategy coming out from FaZe. Maybe for this site is very good, but there's a Legion every single round from Nip. I think Yuna's a very good player, but I don't think that he is doing the job right here on Monty right now, and I think that if he were to switch round onto something like a Glaz, he would have a much better time.
You do love a Glaz.
I love a Uniglaz.
I love it. Yeah, a lot of people love a Uniglaz. But yep, we can see obviously again assumptions about where this Monty is going to go through that garage door, start to try to push up and get control of the stairs. But yes, you're right. He's going to hit Psycho on the Legion. He's going to WAG potentially on the Smoke, who looks like he might be roaming Smoke, waiting for someone to push through underneath.
And he will find one. There we go. WAG gets the opening kill of the round. There we go. Mav going to go down so early on. It's always the Buck players that go down so early on. Great early pick coming out from WAG there. Is going to completely deny most of the vertical play coming through here. As FaZe try and do some work quickly, but cameraman not able to find anything going on.
So they have dug around and they've obviously found those slight holes along the bottom, but to be fair, Yuna again now rotated around. Originally went to try to back up against where WAG picked off, but wasn't able to. There is the ping just saying there's someone running. They blew open the garage wall on the opposite side, so now they're being able to push in. Astro firing the Zephyr mines, the portable Grismots along, and there goes Yuna slowly pushing up those stairs, but is going to start hitting Legions very soon.
Yeah, he's going to be able to successfully get to the very top of the stairs, however, before he hits any Legion mines. But there we go. There goes the first one. Yuna is just going to tank it. It moves all the way through. What is he doing? Yuna, what are you doing?
Yeah, you kind of question Yuna's Monty plays so far in this round. Obviously, it's a viable thing to do when you push that, but you need someone to back you up for just that reason, because as soon as you get caught out, you're caught out. Zephyr gets dropped, obviously can get themselves back up if they're in a bit more of a comfortable position down, far down they are, but Astro is back on their feet with a teeny tiny amount of health. Have a minute left, but it's just not looking good, this FaZe attack.
Oh, absolutely terrible coming out so far. It's going to be a 3v4 though. Astro could try and bring it back. He's on a sliver of HP, but 1 HP in a dream. Nothing more you could ask for. To see the ADS picks it, Astro going to move through onto the central stairs and rotate through the bedroom side instead, but not looking too good for FaZe Clan right now. They don't have a lot of utility on the board to try and deal with what's going on, and there's still a pretty solid hold coming out from Nip.
Yeah, Nip again, I mean, we're saying that FaZe aren't playing great as attacking, but Nip are very good at just exploiting that. They're very good at picking them off and finding themselves in good positions. They're seemingly ready to counter most of these pushes. There's Astro with a beautiful take against Wag. Gonna pre-fire for any returns, and then drops out and goes for the rotation as PZD finds Moringa. Rebalancing it slightly, it is now the Maestro off the board, which is a big take, and the smoke. But there's only 15 seconds left. There goes Cameraman, and it is down to a very low health Astro.
Yeah, Astro going to try and make his way up the stairs slowly, but his one Astro mine is going to go down, but it is going to be Psycho. Shuts down Astro. Beautiful round from Nip, and another great defense from them, but some huge mistakes coming out from FaZe Clan right now, and I really hope they abandon this Monty strategy because it is not working for them at all.
No, it's almost like obviously you talk about teams and what they bring to tournaments outside of the majors and stuff like that, and FaZe, they're going to the major. They might not want to run the strats. It's just more VODs for other people. But at the same time, this is still a tournament and it's not working. It's not worked for 3 rounds. Yuna is hesitating and is going to bring Thatcher. Obviously, there's still the opportunity of a 6th pick. We're heading down to Church and Arsenal. I don't know. I'm hoping to see a bit more of the FaZe that we've already seen. And they, as you said, they're using Monty almost like a crutch, but it was not a well-constructed crutch.
No, it wasn't. But, you know, Thatcher, I also agree with here from Yuna. He's played a decent amount of Thatcher already, and he did pretty well on that on Coastline. We'll see how that goes through and see if FaZe can put some rounds on the line here on attack. As I said, you know, this is defense-sided, but you really need to start getting some rounds on the attack if you have a hope of closing out the match.
So PZD 6th picks from Jaeger to Jaeger, which is a very big tactical decision.
Well, you just want to understand.
it's the secret IQ place, but you can see they're setting up. Again, we assume Wag is going to hold on to Dirt Tunnel. We saw them try to push Dirt Tunnel exceptionally late, but at the same time, Nip, they had a lot of people off point. They had 3 people at least playing off point on the roam, trying to pick off frags, and they did start to collapse towards it. But at the beginning of that round, and when that was going down, the roam clear from FaZe that first round was the best they have looked this entire game. At the same time, Psycho, who was playing Bandit before, didn't put any of the battery packs down. So I'm curious why they've all still got so much in pocket.
They're going to run around and just put it down in random places all over the map. I'm not quite sure, but there is, still a lot of utility on the board here from Nip. It'll be the second to last defense round, but they're going to still be very, very aggressive with it. Kamikaze on the roam as well as Psycho. We'll see how they do with it, as FaZe could be slowly joining it out and realizing that Nip are getting still very aggressive with it. Kamikaze going to be on the solo roam now, up in construction. I'll be amazed if he gets away with this again.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Obviously, there's no money this time to try and go with the bold attack, but at the same time, I'm still so curious why Psycho isn't putting down the battery charges. Like, it's whatever, but Kamikaze suffers a fair bit of damage, drops the drone, and just instantly runs out, which is the fair decision to make there. You've got their information, just try and survive, and then you can fight them without them having complete intel on where you are, because we know FaZe work very well with intel. And now they're going to have a little bit longer just to try and close them down. A penny wasted is a penny earned in the eyes of the defenders, and you can see Legion heading straight out of there. Good play from Kamikaze.
Absolutely no one in lobby, though, to try and pick Kamikaze to rotate down the stairs. That could have been a very easy early kill for FaZe Clan, but they do not jump on the opportunity, so to speak, as Ninja's still holding down the site with all 5 of their members.
Just giving themselves a little bit of information in case they drop down into Moto. PZD is watching out across blue. Again, just only push, and that drop down above the point, which is always such a big point of contention, is also being watched. Wag still with 3 remote gas grenades and only a minute left. FaZe need to start making moves against the point, which it seems like they are. Zafir firing against the church wall as charges are going off on the roof and the hatches.
Looking pretty good still for Ninja's Pyjamas, however. Still got quite a lot of utility on the board to destroy this push as it comes through. They've had a really good, successful defenses so far. Let's see if they can try and knock out another one. As Map going to be opening up quite a lot of the vertical play here. We still haven't seen too much hard destruction coming out from FaZe yet.
No, it's quite bold to destroy a lot of the soul destruction. Obviously, you're worried about C4s, and that's what you're trying to protect yourself from. But it seems like Mav is also just looking for frags as they get the drop down left with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Every player still alive.
And Kamikaze attempting to do the impact trick there, but unable to get away with it just yet. 20 seconds left to go on the clock, and we'll see nades coming out from Mav to try and force the defenders further out just a little bit. Like the drop is just going to have to come through from FaZe sooner rather than later. Cameraman be pushing all the way through onto Dirt. Psycho takes down Astro. 4v5 now, 4v4 as Unit takes down Wag, and just a flurry of kills start to come down as we'll see just the execute come through. The defuse of success gets planted by FaZe and turns into a 3v3. Moringa finds a beautiful wallbang onto Psycho. And now all into the hands of Julio because Kamikaze has been injured. And Cameraman has also been injured as well. There's the flurry of injuries coming through here. Julio going to try and play the hatch to try and get some kills on the board here, but unable to do it so far. The diffuser slowly starts to do its work. He sees the vertical play, and he does get the kill. Moringa goes down. All Julio has to do is he just has to find the kill into Mav, and he can bring this in. And he does! Julio takes down Mav, but does he know that Cameraman is injured? He will not just yet. He'll try and quick peek it out. He'll realize he's injured. He takes him down, but does he have no time? I don't think he has enough time to take the diffuser down. No, he doesn't. FaZe Clan take round number 4 with a successful defuse of the bomb.
Wow, that's gutting. I think is the only thing you can really say. To go around and then to see that the thing that stops you getting the defuse is that the Maverick was down. That is gutting, and there's not else you can really say there. To go from almost an amazing clutch. You know, you'll feel that for a while. 3-1. FaZe managed to pull a round back. And we go into the last defense in gym and bedroom.
This is so sad. Can we get 50 likes?
Play Despacito.
We'll go through into the final defense here, finishes Pyjamas, and we'll go through a gym bedroom defense. Which, I don't know, this is just, again, a really bad attack from FaZe, just all over the place. He was very miscalculated, I think, from them. And again, very much relying on the Montaigne. And look, the first round, they didn't bring a Montaigne. That they actually won, but they're going to bring a Montaigne this time.
They swapped to it as you were looking at me telling me. So, hey, they make decisions. losing 6th pick again. Very smart play, very creative play. Definitely the better operator to bring up.
Yeah, Leash is definitely a bit superior than Legion. So, we'll definitely pick up Legion.
You're digging open the same kind of rotations holes they had before. Obviously, the counterplay they had against Monty through the battle in construction and just the way they kind of locked it off was, well, you couldn't really ask for anything else from Nip. Kamikaze, who's been having a pretty good game, as well as obviously Psycho was the only roamer last time. And what else can you say about Julio other than you've seen Julio play and he just keeps playing at that level? It's been absolutely phenomenal these past couple maps. Nip have definitely seemed much more in control, much more cohesive. This map, there's no denying it, but at the same time, this is obviously a very different phase to the first map phase.
Yeah, it's a very different phase indeed, but as I said multiple times, this is a defender-sided map, and FaZe are starting on the attack. They are going to have a hard time with this to start with. Unit again on this Montaigne is going to try and make his entry through onto the garage. As you do see Ninja's Pyjamas just holding down onto the garage area, but most importantly just around the CCTV cache area, as we do see most teams do.
Looks like they're not going to throw Monty straight up the garage stairs this time. Obviously, they've been caught out by the Legion before. Psycho's going to rotate down into bar underneath as PCD actually pulls back just a little bit into server CCTV. And Wag, again, worried about the drop down, holding it the same way they held it before. FaZe weighing things up. They know that someone's there. Yuna is just going to set up, and Maverick is going to start claymoring and looking for a way in. But also backed up by the Thermite. Julio is not far away from this, though, and is going to feed all that. They're coming through the jacuzzi.
Yeah, Thermite charges will go down, successfully opening jacuzzi wall, and this is a much more typical attacker strategy coming out from FaZe right now. I mean, Monty is going to drop down logistics, of course, as is standard, but we're not going to have so much more aggressive nip as we did see before. As FaZe is going to slowly get in here. Maestro Cam is not going to get destroyed. I think that was a little bit of a misplay there from Astro.
Well, I guess we'll find out. I mean, we did see PZD creeping a bit closer. Mav finds Psycho, though. That is the one roamer taken off the board. Now it's just a matter of closing against the actual point defense. It looked like it was a double mirror set up there against Jacuzzi, getting them a lot of information. Obviously, Monty is the big one to take out this time. And so far, they haven't really struggled. But for the first time, Monty is right on the door of point and currently doesn't have a lesion in him at the same time. Kamikaze again, having a really good game, finds Cameraman. Astro couldn't quite lock down that frag as the smoke goes off just to push Monty away. Smoke looks like he really wants to peek against it. Does, but in the wrong time. The animation catches him out, and Astro finds a very easy frag there as Yuna has to pull back.
Yeah, he will pull back and pull that Legion Mine out successfully. Moringa does manage to take the headshot down onto Julio, and now it's a 4v2 situation. Not looking too good for Ninjas right now, as Kamikaze could be holding down. Does successfully take down Map, but instantly traded out by Yuna, but PZD takes down Moringa on the other side of the map. Now it's all into PZD's favor right now. Smokes are going to go down to try and block him off. And surely the defuse is going to go down sooner rather than later from Yuna right now. There is a black eye, however, just above where PZD is, so you'll be able to spot out whoever's on the objective. And PZD should be able to try and make a little bit of work go through here. The defuse will go down successfully, however, and PZD just makes his way into the site. Hides behind the bomb, but Astro, through the smoke, takes down PZD with a headshot. FaZe can't take round number 5.
Oh, 3-2. FaZe is starting to show more signs of the FaZe that we're more familiar with. Obviously, I'm seeing your gestures.
What was that? What just happened? He just one-tapped someone through the smoke.
Skill, mate.
Is it just a spectator bug? I don't understand what just happened. Is Astro a god? I don't understand what just happened.
Maybe Astro is a god. Maybe that's what FaZe Up is about.
Yeah, just
phasing up to Astro.
Phase up, yeah, I guess. I mean, Astro, definitely one of the most consistent fraggers coming out from FaZe, and apparently one of the most consistent one-tap through smoke people as well.
Hey, everyone's got to have a skill. Church, Arsenal Room, Smoke, Maestro, Mute, Valk, and Jaeger. We've already talked about FaZe's information game, FaZe's communication game, and this is a lineup that very much plays into that with the Valk and the Maestro. Curious how much they kind of throw away from point, as we've said as well, this very match that sometimes you can play quite off point, sometimes you can play quite close. They're going to swap the Mute out for the Bandit, whether Cameraman's going to play with 4 Bandit charges in pocket or not. I guess we're going to find out. Maybe that's just a new thing. Against the Sophia, Twitch, Ash, Maverick, and Thermite.
Nice pen catching.
Yeah, you didn't see that on stream, but then I flicked the pen and they caught it. And
this is why we should have the camera up at all times. The pen skills, yeah. We'll see how it goes through, as we'll see FaZe Clan with their first defense here. And as I said multiple times, as a reminder, this is a defender-sided map. So this should be FaZe's start to win now. They have managed to close out 2 rounds. Let's see how many more they can close out. Although, honestly, wouldn't be too surprised to see this go into overtime.
I would want it to go into overtime. I mean, it's always... You always generally see the best. You see the stress test of teams and just how far they can go when you start to see that. And obviously, it isn't unlimited overtime, unfortunately. But it's always nice when it keeps on going. But at the same time, I'm excited to see how they push. You can already see Cameraman on the far side from just a little bit of a point. Gonna drop back down. Still has 4 shock wire. Potentially gonna put those down. There goes the evil eye as well. Looks like, there we go. Gonna actually put down the shock wire. So that's nice to see. Maestro currently in Dirt Tunnel.
No Legion coming out from FaZe, surprisingly.
No Legion there just to kind of stop any potential shield push, but at the same time, I guess translate how they actually seem to go against it. The Yuna holding Dirt Tunnel, I think I'm the most curious about. Obviously, we've talked about good operators to throw there, and Smoke is just built for that position.
Yeah, he definitely is. We see lots of scouting with the drones coming out from Nip just upstairs and just trying to clear out any if there are any roamers. But FaZe don't seem to be one of those teams who like to roam too heavily. In fact, or everyone will be playing downstairs in the basement, which is pretty typical of this defense.
Yeah, it's so wide, this defense. There's obviously the 3rd way downstairs as well. Now there's so much vertical possibility as well, just in terms of what's destructible, what isn't, the hatches, what isn't a hatch. There's just a lot to be aware of at almost all times. And because of that, it's one of those points where you don't even really need to roam. In fact, some of the strongest holds that some teams do don't have any roamers at all. However, we start to see Kamikaze digging through drop downs, trying to find any potential picks through them as well. Julio is pushing from the garage stairs. and they are kind of starting to close down. Haven't pushed against Kitchen yet. Cameraman's pinging off that they're coming through that side. Maybe doesn't know how close that C4 could be to getting a frag on, I think, the Thermite.
Yeah, could be doing very well here, but no motor drop going to come down just yet from Nip. They're being very, very slow with this attack right now. Psycho going to be trying to open up a little bit more vertical play and see what he can do here. Suggesting a Moto or a Kitchen drop. We'll see how it goes down, as units are going to be holding down. And yeah, Moto drop does start to come through. That should be a Nitro going out very nicely. Finds Kamikaze. Very nice Nitro coming out from Cameraman. That may have just won them the round. There goes Maverick. Flag still on the board, however. And he will drop Moto as well. He has control of the diffuser.
They do still have Julio. Astro finds Julio. PZD and Psycho get 2 quick return frags. Wag with another one. And now it is suddenly 3 attackers versus 2 defenders. Now a big trade. There's one for Mav, but Psycho picks up the return. It is suddenly all down to Cameraman, who's starting to push towards Moto.
Yeah, let's ring around the rosies right now as Cameraman does manage to retreat back into Moto, but no, Psycho is going to wait for him there, takes him down. Nip take their first attacking round. There is going to be a disconnect.
So we'll find out, obviously, if they want to use their remake or not. We will find out very quickly. But 4-2, getting closer and closer to bring us to that third map. We are going to go for a rehost. Drop my pen in shock.
Unfortunate.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But 4-2. And again, this is a Nip that's looking awake. They're looking aggressive. And they're really exploiting FaZe's mistakes and misplays.
Yeah, no, they definitely have been. We're going to take a short break here before we do return back into the game after the short rehost.
Somehow, even though they had just gone, we're going to play with 4, Astro connects. All the arms are up in the air in both the studio and the teams at home. Again, there was a lot of spamming letters. Whatever you play as deemed has just happened. We're going in 5 versus 5. Full strength phase back in it. CCTV and Cash. It is currently 4-2. The previous rounds just taken by Nip. And the glass is coming out.
Yeah, Nip looking pretty good so far. And if you can just secure just a couple more of these attacker rounds, they can bring it in. But as I've said, this is a very defender-sided map. And, you know, this could end 6-4 into FaZe's favor, like their Pro League game ended on Clubhouse, of course. But Nip seem to have definitely woken up now.
Well, you say that as Julio tries to connect. Nothing ever goes right. But Mira has obviously been 6-picking from Maestro. And then obviously Ash to Glaz. It's both can be used as push-ups. We've seen Psycho use Glaz as a push-up as well. But it's a very different method of pushing. We finally tick through. Everything is kind of shaky right now. We're just concerned we don't want to lose these guys. Ladam often has connection issues recently as well. And it's never great because you want this kind of fight to keep going. But the CCTV Cash hold. Now, we generally see this point played more frequently by EU and NA teams, especially as a first point or a second point. So it's quite nice to actually see FaZe rotating into it quite early because they have a slightly different method of playing it to the EU guys.
It's interesting as well because we've seen a few things go wrong here on this kind of take, and we've seen a few LAN teams, as you said, they don't seem to prefer this site at all. Hopefully FaZe don't have as much of a degradation towards this site as other teams have, but we will see finally the Glaz being brought through from Psycho, who is an insanely good player.
Yeah, he's a hell of a Glaz player. They're wasting no time in closing down onto Garage, and getting control of Garage is a very big part of pushing against this point now. You really want to close it down. Obviously, Cameraman is playing with the mirror window. The big worry for him is that Maverick, because Maverick can drop those bandits and then it really shuts you down. But again, Astro is waiting for the push against Garage, wants to take control, and that set of stairs is going to be a very big point of contention for this push.
A very big point indeed. So my judges are going to go down onto the Garage. That's one of the key objectives being taken over here from Ninja's Pyjamas. The other one is going to have to be that east wall or the construction wall, depending on which way you want to push this. But that east wall is going to be very hard to contest with that mirror window there.
So they put the Maverick right underneath the mirror window, or they're just digging the holes there. They're trying to find ways in. There goes a little bit, or they're trying to get rid of the bandit charge. They're going to get the drone in. You can see they're still looking for that initial fight. FaZe need to try to keep control of that for as long as possible, because as soon as that balcony gets blown open, it becomes so hard to hold garage.
It does become very hard to hold garage indeed. We see the rest of FaZe Clan still just holding on though, and not too much progress being made by Ninjas just yet. They are slowly starting to make that progress though, as Asho going to be playing onto the top of the garage still. Just Jones are going to go out, he's going to pop the mirror successfully as the wall does get opened up. So, 2 successful objectives being secured there for NiP. Now they just have to push.
In the meantime, obviously, they have generally set up a lot here. You can hear Glaz setting off some shots. They've also stacked up on the range. There's Glaz finding Mav with some beautiful sights. The poor Elysian picked apart there by the Glaz, and it is now a very hard spot indeed for Astro up there.
Big misplays coming out, it would seem, from FaZe, as Astro does get picked immediately from PZD. And just these beautiful crossfires being put up from Ninja's Pyjamas, and FaZe is getting caught in them. Yeah, really putting them down, but 50 seconds left to go on the clock. Not a single kill on the board just yet for FaZe. Not looking too good for them to try and deny the entry, but looking so good for NiP right now to try and push in and try and secure what little ground they can gain. But they do still have all 5 men on the board. Capital bolts do go out, flashbangs go out as well. Nitros go out, but not going to see too much progress from either side just yet. Gonna start to push in here. Lots of toxic babes go down. PZD TKs Julio, but the diffuser is going to successfully go down. Cameraman pushes up, does manage to kill Wag, moves it into a 3v3 situation. Looking good for FaZe to actually try and retake this now, but Psycho should be able to reposition himself into a very nice position here to try and deny any sort of push onto this diffuser. But oh, the run out from Cameraman takes down Psycho successfully. Cameraman on 1 HP in a dream, and Moringa's just going to sit on top of the diffuser and try and destroy it. You're going to be playing around onto him, so you can deny it. Flashbangs are going to come down. The drop comes down, but not quick enough. FaZe Clan take round number 7, having successfully disabled the diffuser.
In the meantime, the 1 HP Cameraman actually did pick up another fight on the garage there and win it, by the looks of it, towards the end there. They just didn't really have anyone to kind of back up the plant. Obviously, all the push came. The Capital was unfortunately caught in the crossfire. The amount of utility that got lobbed into that one tiny room. I'm kind of amazed there wasn't more death.
Yeah, no, I was kind of amazed as well. I was kind of amazed that all the nitros and the smokes that went out didn't really seem to have any effect on that plant going down whatsoever. But not a whole lot of plant denial from FaZe, but it doesn't matter, because you could just retake, apparently. Just retake,
just get the diffuser off. Now, we head back down to Church and Arsenal room, which FaZe did lose. As a defensive point, obviously, the execute kind of came in through Modo, and it was a pretty clean take, even though they did lose the Thermite, I believe, or the Maverick very quickly. But Smoke, Maestro, Bandit, Legion, and Jaeger are going to try and hold it again in a fairly, if not the same, loadout from NiP.
Definitely looking pretty good so far. Let's go through now and see how round number 8 is getting underway. We'll see yet another downstairs defense for FaZe. Now, last time this didn't end so well. I really thought that when the Nitro went out and Maverick died, that was game over for NiP.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, because you do such a kind of big pick. You had still all of your bandits up. You had a lot reinforced. Had the possibility to watch, but as we've said before, this point is so wide and so vast that they just could find a backup plan. And they started to put pressure from other sides. They drew a bit of attention away from Modo and then just hard pushed Modo a little bit. Sent, I believe, 2 operators down there, picked up a couple more trades, a couple more frags, and it did come down a little bit to the wire, but at the same time, they lost it.
Yeah, they did lose it indeed. Let's move through into round number 8, however, and see exactly how it's going to go down. As We'll see. We'll see. But I think that last time that NiP were expecting a really aggressive roam game from FaZe, that just never came. And NiP really, they went on it quite well. They got a lot of control because of it. And sometimes this very conservative strategy doesn't work because of that.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, is if you've kind of set themselves up to be able to push against this with all utility left, it's very different. I mean, we talk about, again, I've said it, how wide it is, but if they're kind of pushing from a direction, they have a lot of utility, you're not trying to take as much of it away as possible, like, you still got to play your defense cleverly. You still got to think, well, although we might not be roaming anyone, how can we at least try to weaken them before they get to our door? you're not really seeing too much of it. Maverick is just going to dig through Kamikaze. He's going to open up Dirt Tunnel in case anyone wants to push. No one, by the looks of it, is currently holding it, though. It wasn't normally the Maestro who was actually pulled back. Cameraman is still going to watch over Moto where they pushed in from before and actually rotate all the way around to Staircase that Psycho is droning out. But Astro finds the opening frag against PZD down in blue.
That is a huge pick for Astro right there. Taking PZD off the board immediately without any of that Sophia utility going down is going to mean that those Maestro cams are going to be fairly safe right now. Psycho going to be the only one who can really take them off the board now. But he's got to get within range to do that, and he doesn't really have the ability to burn ADSs from such long range like Zofia does.
Now, they kind of handed Dirt Tunnel to Kamikaze, who's just pushed all the way up, and he doesn't really have to do too much more because there's still over a minute left on the clock, and now they are scared and worried about the push from that side. We see that they are ready for the C4 loop they did before. WAG is going to blow open the kitchen drop down as well, just to put a bit more pressure from another side. But again, it is starting to close in on FaZe.
Yeah, and those flashbangs going down just to make sure there's no ADS, and also to make sure that no one can impact Trick as well. Maestro Cam will destroy any drones that make their way through from Dirt Tunnel or any other areas for that matter. Julio getting ready to go for this push down the main stairs with the Nitro lined up perfectly from Cameraman to try and deny the entry, but it does come through. 35 seconds left to go on the clock, and Julio looking poised for this plant situation. We're going to move all the way up. Smokes are going to come through. The Nitro goes out. That's devastating from Cameraman. Takes Julio off the board. Beautiful. The plant is going to start going down, however, from WAG at the right side of Armory. Maestro Cam will spot him out. However, Moringa does manage to lit up WAG just a little bit, but does go down to Psycho. WAG and Psycho both pick up kills. Oh, and what a peek from Yuna. Takes down WAG's head. And beautiful from Yuna again. A double kill from him, but gets traded out by Psycho. Now 1v1, all between Astro and Psycho. Psycho does have Diffuser, but getting pinged out, and he's out of time. And he can't get it. Astro easily able to knife him out. FaZe Clan take round number
4-4 is all leveled out now, Astro, obviously, with the knife there. And to be fair, that was close. That was very much on the wire. The frag started to come up from Nip. Obviously, they're picking these, they're getting these picks in situations where you sometimes think, well, how are they doing that? Obviously, the push there after the brilliant C4 tear, they know the diffuser's going down, but it's being spotted by a Maestro, and you just run straight in to their hold from that drop down.
The big problem with that Maestro cam was still up. And because that Maestro cam knew exactly where that plant was going down, it all just kind of fell apart. I mean, yes, there were some good refrags coming out from Nip, and it was a very, very close round, but at the end of the day, the amount of intel that FaZe had allowed them to react to that situation almost perfectly.
Intel, intel, intel. So Nip square it off for the first time this map since the very beginning. Zafir, Capital, Thermite, and Maverick. Psycho thinking about what they can bring in the buck as we go into gym and bedroom. Again, a fairly standard, similar loadout from FaZe.
Well, we'll see how it does go through, as we are going to see FaZe again on this defense, but it's going to be gym bedroom from them. I don't know. I never really know how successful or unsuccessful that this defense can be. It's always been a bit of a mixed bag.
I think you often see most success when they start to put pressure on Jacuzzi side, but again, it's also down to how Astro, not just Astro, but the whole of FaZe decide to hold it, decide to how to set it up. It looks like, again, they're setting up a lot behind that Jacuzzi wall. They know how integral that can be. They have the bandit charges to hold it as well, and they have the ability to bandit trick it too, but also they're setting up in cache. They're setting up slightly wider. They want to keep more control of the floor, or at least take as much time as possible, because we've seen when the push starts to close down against construction, starts to close down against logistics, that's when it gets stressed.
Yeah, definitely, that is very true. Indeed, that stress testing is going to start coming out, however, from Ninja's Pyjamas. And yeah, it's going to be fairly easy, however, with this Maverick on the board from Kamikaze to take control of that Jacuzzi wall.
Yeah, it's the thing about Maverick, obviously, he's just kind of become very instrumental. And, you know, there's certain ways to counter it, there's certain ways to play against it. There's a whole mess and mix of things that people say you can and can't do to deal with it, but at the same time, it does not make your life easier, especially if your name is Cameraman and you're bandit tricking this wall right now.
Yeah, and as I was about to say, I'm really surprised that Cameraman is even attempting this, knowing there's a Maverick around in this area. He was going to see the Maverick hole getting opened up, and he's like, nope, don't want any of that situation. He's going to be taking a prone angle this time onto the stairs and see what he can do to try and deny the Maverick, as he's going to open up even more holes. The bandit charges are going to get destroyed, and that should easily be able to open up WAG to open up that. But he's going to be see on the other side. This is really bad time efficiency coming out from Nip right now.
Yeah, WAG with the diffuser, currently playing in a place by himself. Obviously, if he goes down, it's not the end of the world out there, but at the same time, that's your thermite. Why is he not with the wall, whether he's got the diffuser or not? Now it's just a matter of waiting. It's, as I said, weighing it up. You can see, obviously, they've got Astro and Mav playing in construction. They have a little bit of a rotation. They're worried about drop downs again, because if they start losing logistics, if they start losing these side rooms, that's when it becomes an impossible situation.
It does start to become an impossible situation, but that time is starting to tick down, and really not that much progress from Nip being made yet. WAG is going to repel up rather smartly, and he's going to try and open up this where he can. And yeah, he will be able to successfully open up Jacuzzi. There's no one really there to contest that area. Psycho could be joining it out to secure that. Cameraman, however, has got a mirror window of his own, and he's going to be able to deny that entry quite nicely. And there's no shield. There's not really a lot here from the attack to deal with that mirror window.
No, that is where the defense often falls back. And obviously this wall, when Maverick's on the table, just becomes a time kill. There's no real way to stop it. The grenades are rolling through. Half damage. Oh, that almost got the drop there on Buck. Buck does go down, but Julio saves Buck's life. Moringa finishes off the kill. PZD tried to get the revive in and amongst that, but took some damage themselves. But that was... You threw your life away there, cameraman, but boy, was it worth it.
Definitely worth it for cameraman there, though it's going to be 4v4 situation now. Moringa going to be soaking out the hallway there to stop any push coming through, but the push does come through into gym and into the bathroom as well. Unit has a little bit of a mirror window of his own here. Kamikaze gets the opening kill onto Astro. Nitro goes out from Uno! That's a double kill, baby! As he comes through, Julio gets the kill onto Uno. Moringa's left all alone in the bathroom with the shotgun. He takes him down, and that's FaZe Clan who take round number 9. Beautiful.
That's C4. I mean, yeah, there's integral moments of utility use, and we've seen some great C4s from the mirror window and behind the mirror window today, but that was the round win there. You could just, the moment it dropped, it was the beautiful double kill, and there was nothing that Nip could have done.
I believe that's what they called a yeet.
That was a yeet. That was a, he yoked. But 5-4, match point. FaZe have clawed their way back into this game, and they are currently looking, well, they're looking good. But again, so a Nip. These rounds have come down to that final couple of seconds, and FaZe just stopping the plant going down, just denying that plant, whether they're doing it with bullets or C4s. It's twice where Nip have been putting the diffuser down, and FaZe have got that kill, and then there's a 5-second panic left. Can they do it again?
I'm really well, I'm not surprised, but it's going to be interesting how this goes through, because CCTV Cash Room has by far been the closest defense we've seen so far. That still ended in a victory for FaZe.
Yeah, the plant went down and it just snuck in, got the diffuser in that tight corner space, obviously, but there was still, well, at the time of the diffuser being picked off, 2 of Nip still left alive. One of them did get picked off as he tried to rotate back around, but that was in the final death throes of that. Still a Nip member left. You think they could have maybe just done a little bit to try to stop that and cover that. But hey,
I still think that without an Echo, FaZe are really struggling to get a plant denial going here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's... I mean, their plant denial so far has just been get those kills. But they're getting these kills in high-pressure environments, which, to be fair, they're pulling off. But that's a risk. That's always a roll of the dice. There's safer ways to try to get denials or defusals, especially when you've seen, obviously, that we know that FaZe can play Echo. We know that they can play these kind of operators that are good. Oh, well, not Echo, obviously. Echo's been banned, but they can play more kind of technical diffuse deniers and plant deniers.
Yeah, sure. We're going to get through now into round number 10 and see how exactly this is going to go down, but what I meant to do with that point is that was a very smart ban coming out from Nip. Banning the Echo has really torn apart the defense from FaZe, but despite that, they've been able to hold on to quite a few of these rounds. They've only actually lost one of these defenses.
Yeah. It's been a very long game with all the resets. But they start to put pressure instantly on that eastern wall. They're trying to get it open. The Maverick has done his work. They are moving much quicker. You can tell that what Nip has struggled with is time. And they are aware of that fact. They are closing things down. As you've said, this was one of the closest, if not the closest, back and forth we got. Again, they're just looking for an excuse to get that thermite charge down. Cameraman is wanting the feed in there, but the charge goes down. There is the impact trick, though. Beautiful execution, and they only have one more chance. At the same time, PZD has found Moringa, and that is the smoke dead.
That's a smoke dead so early on, but that's also that thermite charge going down, and that's completely denied that east side entry. And Nip have already dedicated a huge amount of utility to try and get that open. So I don't think it's worth it for the smoke to die for that, but it's definitely worth a while.
Well, I think the smoke was an accidental collateral in that, because it was the Lesion, I believe, that got the deny, and the smoke just kind of turned around at the wrong moment and got capped. But Cameraman is out of impact, cannot do that again, but at the same time, it looks like Nip are going for a complete general rotation. Wag is upstairs droning. They only have a minute, but hey, you've seen it come down to tighter. But when time has been such a big issue for the team, you can tell that Nip are feeling that. They're trying to move quickly, they're trying to move swiftly, and they are digging to try to get Astro out of there now.
Well, this could be Kamikaze, who does manage to find his way all up onto the top of the garage now, but FaZe seem to have completely abandoned that area now. Don't seem to be too bothered about if he has control of that or not. 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Kamikaze with a beautiful opening kill there onto Mav. Asher going to quickly realize it does manage to quickly trade it right on back into his favor. 3v4, not looking too good for FaZe, but now plenty of utility on the board, and no, he's not going to be looking behind him. The book charge is going to come through from below. Astro going to be kicked up by PZD. It's a 1v4 all down to Yuna. Throws it, and Astro doesn't manage to find it. All he has to do is deny the plan. That's all he has to do right now. Pushes all the way into two of them, but no goes down. And Ninjas and Pyjamas take round number 10, and they will push this into overtime.
So, overtime. Nip, they found a spring in their step. And it was everything that they needed just to put some pressure and get some speed in with that round, because that was where they were suffering. They were getting down to that final 10, losing the plant down, and they still had operators left. It's never an issue of frags with them so far, but now they bring it in. Can they keep that learned lesson through into these next rounds? FaZe get the first defense.
I think my major problem with what happened there is that I could tell what FaZe were trying to do, but because all of what their plan was to deny that opening of the wall happened really early on in the round, it allowed Nip to go, oh, okay, we'll just rotate. And now, actually, we have control of the garage anyway, so we can push through there and get a pick. And as soon as that pick happened, I could tell it was all going to start falling apart for FaZe.
Plan B. Maestro is brought in instead of Mirror, and Glaz is being bought as well. So obviously they're going to try a slightly different hold, because we've talked about how well they've been playing Mirror FaZe. Instead, they're going to try something different. And to be fair, this is the moment where you do it. This is where you start to try new strats, catch Nip off guard. And these are both teams that are very capable of doing that.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes down. But this time, I'm not so sure. This was a very weird defense for FaZe. Again, like, even though they've had one success and one loss on this defense so far, both of them have been very down-to-the-wire defenses.
Yeah, it's just kind of shows the caliber of these two teams, that they can kind of bring each other to these points so consistently and so repeatedly that they really just know how to play against each other and know how to learn from each other's mistakes and tactics. Just evolve the game as the game is going on. And that is always the best thing about Siege. And the best thing, I would say, when we went into this 5 attack, 5 defense situation is this exact thing. Evolution of gameplay during the game.
Yeah, should be good indeed. Let's see how it does go through as we see FaZe Clan starting out on the defense, and majority of rounds have gone to defense. So you'd say this coin flip has gone slightly into FaZe's favor, but anything can happen in this overtime. We may see some pocket strats being brought out here. Nip not wanting to get eliminated from this upper bracket.
Yeah, you can see right there, droning out again. Maestro is playing in Dirt Tunnel. That's freeing up the smoke of Moringa to actually play, and we haven't seen, obviously Moringa's suffered a couple of early deaths and a couple of early losses before getting all utility out, and smoke can be so influential for that end round shenanigans. They're starting to pick off drop downs as well. Start opening up their way through hatches. It seems like Sophia of PCD, again, who was a very early pick last time, taken by Astro, I believe, in the very spot that they are pushing from, is worried about getting a bit too over-aggressive, doesn't want to lose their life again, but there is the hatch on blue utility open, and the Jaegers start getting burnt.
Yeah, looking pretty good so far. Lots of utility going down from Nip, and still plenty of time to work with here for them, as they do start to slowly control all this area. And again, from FaZe, it's very conservative strategy and really relying on these nitros. I think it's starting to hurt them quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've talked about how influential it can be, but at the same time, waiting and baiting, it's a strategy where you let them get very close and then you hit them where it hurts. But if they start predicting that and if they start moving around that and against that, I mean, we've seen how it can go. Obviously, bullets are starting to trade. The drones are coming out from Nip as well. They're getting as much information as they can before they start this push, and they have a minute left. They haven't put anything into Dirt Tunnel, so Maestro even is just doing a last check. There goes the first nitro. Doesn't get anything, unfortunately, and has to instantly turn off, and does as they start to push against that church entrance.
Yeah, that C4 just clipping the bandited wall. There is Psycho and Kamikaze both get their entry kills. Not looking too good for FaZe right now as they're desperately trying to hold on. Yuna does rotate into blue, it seems. Oh no, he catches the lying down. He just goes for the pre-fire through the smoke, but he can't find it. Julio takes down Yuna. Astro finds 2, 3. Mav takes down Kamikaze. It's a 2v2 and it's a post-plant situation now. As what a shot from Astro. Just takes the head clear off of Wag. He's got to know that the other person is indeed behind that bar in church. How they see to deal with it is going to be yet to remain. Mav does still have a nitro, but he's not going to need it because Astro is just going to get an incredible shot yet again. Takes down Psycho. And wow, that very much went against the favor of Nip.
Yeah, Nip closed down, and to be fair, credit to Astro. He pulled out some amazing frags in that retake of church. They're obviously going against the Glaz from that range. The Thermite pick, he got both of them buried deep inside. I believe it might have been a 4K for Astro.
It was a 4K for Astro.
Kudos. He really, really pulled FaZe out of the hotspot there and brought them back into it. So I guess it's kind of good that they didn't play with 4 players, because he really just carried that round there. But 6-5, it's not over yet. It is overtime. Match point. FaZe can take it and push Nip down to the lower bracket. Nip have one more round.
Well, they've got to win 2 more rounds if they want to bring this into their favor and bring us to a decider map. But yeah, they are in this for one more round. FaZe just need this attack, and they can take it. But even if they don't take the attack, they can still move through into their defense, where they're definitely favored for a win. But we'll see how it goes down as we see another Church Arsenal Room defense coming out here from Ninjas of Pyjamas. And I'm not sure how this is going to go down, because this has been a very weird attack from FaZe coming down here. And I'm so glad to see Yuna picking up that balance.
Yeah, went through a couple of different operators there on the 6-pick rotation, but ended up on Glaz. So you have the buck of Mav for that vertical possibilities. Obviously, when we've seen Nip play this defense oh so long ago, they had a round where they threw 3 on the roam. They had a round where they threw 1 on the roam, and the 3 in the roam they won, but they lost the single roam one. So it'll be interesting to see how brave and how bold they are going to be in the hold of this. Obviously, it's also down to FaZe. FaZe have got to be much more awake than they were when they were attacking before. Their game on defense definitely looked stronger, obviously, enough to actually keep them in the game and keep pulling them in the game. But it's down to Nip now, I believe, to keep up the high standards that they had before.
We'll see if they're able to do just that. So we're going to move into the action phase for round number 11. See exactly how it is going to go down. But, sorry, round number 12.
Round number 12.
You know, I think that so far FaZe have had fairly inconsistent attacks, but now they're starting to bring it back in. We have had a rehost since then. It's been a very, seems like a lifetime ago since we saw the last FaZe attack. But it's very different, it looks like, in the operator lineup that they brought.
So FaZe look like they're very quickly shutting down any potential roam and rotation. Was being droned out there, setting up the Claymore above the stairs, but at the minute it doesn't look like there are any. NiP players playing off point, and they have stacked all 5 of them down below. And again, this is a FaZe that looks like they have a little bit of fire under them now. They're moving quickly. They're looking for the roam clear, which we know they can do so well. Psycho is actually pushed off slightly, but again, much closer to point than they were playing before as Cameraman starts trying to find some bullets down through that hatch.
Drones are going to be going out from FaZe, just trying to get this control early on. Yuna's still going to be droning it all out downstairs and seeing what he can do here. But oh, that's a beautiful nitro from Psycho. Now going to be taking Cameraman off the board. Beautifully done. Him to be a 4v5 situation. Not looking too good for FaZe. Having already lost their Maverick, that's definitely going to affect their hard reaching, pushing in here. And to Church, they can do it. But Psycho doesn't have a nitro anymore. But there's still a nitro on the board, I believe, still from Julio.
Now they are looking for a way to potentially push Moto here. They have enough smokes, and obviously Sophia is still above with Mav looking for kills. Obviously, they've pulled back more operators to the basement again. They're not going to take any risks as Astro starts to close down on the stairs. Is going to see the mirror straight away, get hit by another Lesion. As Yuna, again, is looking for just any potential give above.
And Julio getting lined up for his nitro as well now. Seems like the rotate has started to come through. Smokes are going to go out from Yuna. Was that... I don't know if that was intentional or not, but Yuna is going to smoke out his own doorway. And just move all the way through here. Does manage to see one, but doesn't manage to pick him out just yet. The play still in the control here. Julio does miss with his nitro. Yuna gets all the way in. Oh, but gets taken down! Psycho with a beautiful peek takes down Yuna. And it should be all down to Moringa, Astro, and Mav to try and bring this in for FaZe Clan. 3 seconds left to go on the clock. Oh, what was that from Mav? Gets the wall bang through the floor into Kamikaze's head. And takes him right on down. Astro tries to push down onto the main door, but can't find it. Psycho takes down Mav. Julio takes down Astro. Now all down to Moringa, because he's just going to have to drop. And he does go for the drop, but Wag takes him down from K9. NiP take round number 12, and we're going to max OT.
Now, the Glaz, obviously, the first smoke can only deem as a misthrow. Went for the hard push anyway. Having a second smoke there would have potentially just got them, but there was 2 possibilities to get frags for that Glaz there, and unfortunately just couldn't lock down either. Overtime match point, 6-6 FaZe on defense, whereas you've said they've done generally better, but NiP have been doing very well as well. This could be anyone's round.
Yeah, this could be anyone's round, and because we're not going to be able to see an Arsenal room defense, we are going to see a CCTV room defense coming out from FaZe. This, again, has been fairly close, and NiP did actually manage to win one of these before, but I still think that the strategy from FaZe was just so weird and bizarre that they didn't really know what they were playing into, right? And that, yes, NiP kind of messed up a little bit because they couldn't be able to get open that east wall because they fell impact tricks coming through, but yeah, it all just kind of fell apart for FaZe there because there was really good rotation ability coming out from NiP there. They took control of the garage, they got the picks that they needed onto the site, and they still had plenty of utility to bear even when that didn't happen.
Now we are seeing Blitz bought. Julia potentially going to push up that garage, try to get a little bit of ground. No Lesion they're going to be going up against. They'll probably find that smoke at least, but again, no Lesion, which is not the worst thing for Julio to be thinking right now, but at the same time, they still have the Maverick, they still have the Thermite, they still have a lot of that they've been bringing, so are they going to go for that same East start, or, as I said, they rotated very well last time. They pushed off, they came up with a plan B, and the plan B worked.
Yeah, it did work, and there is no Lesion on the board as well, so that is definitely good for Julio, but Julio is the Blitz and not the Montaigne right now. The Montaigne definitely would have been a little bit of a better pick here coming out from Ninjas, but we'll see how that works out. But my main issue, if Julio does decide to try and push up through that garage stairs, is that it's fairly easy for him to get picked as he's pushing up.
Yeah, it's always the worry about when you're bringing that Blitz, because your job as Blitz is close that distance, A to B, quick as possible, flash, shoot, and in one-on-ones, in those kind of tighter corridors, it can be absolutely deadly. But when there's a lot of space between you and your opponent, you got to be a very good Blitz player to kind of close that down. So
I think what might be a little bit of a better strategy here is if Julio just sticks to Psycho here, and they just try and push in together and just use the amount of smokes that they have to try and push Psycho straight into the site.
see Astro is just going to hold off construction. Has a rotation out if need be. But they are starting to, again, try to steadily move in and close. There goes the Maverick, trying to shut down the knee-high mirror. And the shots come against it from Cameraman. But you can already see the blitz is in Garage.
I can see that indeed. Looking pretty good for Julio here. Getting huge amounts of ground here. And you just see the mirror window. I wonder if he's going to choose to pop that or not. Because if he does choose to pop it, it does open up impact tricking here for Wag. But I think he's just going to see if anyone's bandit tricking. And it's going to say to Wag, nope, there's no one there. You can just go ahead and open up that east wall. Looking pretty good for Nip so far. They gained huge amounts of control so early on.
Yeah, giving away Garage from FaZe has not paid off, obviously. They now have a shield at the door. It's Blitz. They have the ability to flash. They have the ability to stun. They have that east wall open. Everything is set up currently for Nip to take this. FaZe need to pull something out to stop Nip's eventual roll over the side. And Astro might start doing that as he peeks around the back and drops the glass.
Very nice pick from Astro. And Psycho going down that early before any smokes have come out from him. That is a very, very important pick coming out indeed. But the plan is going to start coming down sooner rather than later. Wag does have that diffuser in hand, and this execute should start to come through. There's still smokes on the board, however, from Julio as well, as Astro just hop around onto the east stairs and sees what he can do here to deny the entry. But it's going to be Yuna who goes down to PZD with a great entry kill. 25 seconds left to go on the clock. Looking pretty good for Nip so far, but there is Cameraman down below with a nitro of his own. Baringa takes down Kamikaze. That's a very nice kill from him. Astro pushes all the way up. Cameraman takes down PZD. Astro takes down Julio. And Baringa takes down Wag. FaZe Clan take round number 13. And they take the series 2-0. They defeat Ninjas of Pyjamas, knock them down to the lower bracket, and proceed into the grand finals.
Well, I did say FaZe needed to bring something out, and they did. They were concise with that defense. They got the picks that they needed to get when they needed to get them. And really just shut down. They gave them so much ground and then said at the final hurdle, no, this is ours.
It was just one of those things where they still had loads of utility on the board even at the end, and Astro really pulling through. So you just have a look at the bracket. Tomorrow, we will have Team 1 Esports take on Ninjas in Pyjamas for a place in our grand finals, which will happen on Monday.
And then, yeah, then it's the grand final, and it's a best of 5, the final. So the next one is the losers final is a best of 3, and then it's the big old best of 5 final. FaZe Clan versus whoever wins tomorrow. Big game again. Nip just been pushed down, but hey, that could just be a stumble. They face off against Team 1, who they have already beat once.
Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Team Liquid. They are 4th. And say goodbye to us for now as well. Being hosted Cassie, James Stern, Parkinson. I was joined by William Fluke Donaldson. Goodbye.
I was going to say it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I agree. It has definitely been a pleasure. I will let you get that out. And it's going to be goodbye and good night from us until tomorrow.
Goodbye.